The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by...
Each week, our community makes history. Each week, you make history. And each week, there's only one source to turn to for the first take on history. You know what that is? Subscribe to the Sentinel right now to discover the history being made in your own backyard.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel. More than just your news, it's your history.
Hey, welcome everyone to this week's edition of the Mayors and Supervisors Update. I'm Chris Carosa, publisher of the Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel, and each week we bring you the goings-on in the towns and villages that we cover. This week we'll be starting with John Moffett, Supervisor Town of Mendon. John, what's going on in Mendon?
Well, I've been AWOL for a couple of weeks, so I've got a couple of things to share. First of all, we're in the midst of sending out postcards to all the businesses in the town of Mendon outside the village of Honeoye Falls regarding the sign regulations in the town code, which is chapter 260, article 10. The intent of the code is to enhance and protect the physical appearance of the community. These regulations are to reduce sign and advertising distractions, obstructions that may contribute to traffic accidents, reduce hazards that may be caused by signs overhanging, projecting over public right-of-way, promote attractive signs, and provide more visual open space. These postcards are going to go out. If you may have already received them by the time you read this. All businesses are going to have 10 days to be in compliance with the sign ordinance to avoid a violation notice. We received many complaints. We certainly want our businesses to succeed. We also, you got to have rules, and folks have got to start following them. And I'll move on to the next thing, which is from the DEC. And this was not our decision. This was a decision that was made by New York State. They are transitioning to printing licensing for hunting, trapping, fishing, and the tags will be on plain paper going forward. Our town clerk, Michelle Booth, is looking to enhance this for our folks who decide to buy a hunting, fishing, trapping license. Hunters are no longer required to wear a back tag anywhere in New York State. They're not part of this what they're putting forward. And so for all of our hunters, this is a fairly big change. The fact that you're going to walk out with the possibility of your license on a piece of paper. It's not going to be laminated or anything like that, but that's one of the things that our town clerk is looking into to make it more advantage for our residents. The other thing I wanted to mention to folks, and crosswalks. I was recently over at the Mendon Golf Club, and as everyone knows, the state was through, did a decent job of paving Route 64. We're all happy to see that. Put the crosswalk in there. A lot of crosswalks in the hamlet, as well as the village of Honeoye Falls. And I just want to remind people that if someone is in the crosswalk and you're driving, you are required by law to stop. Especially that one in front of the golf club. Even though speed limit is reduced around there, I was standing there watching people going what I would consider all of 45 or more. And just a reminder to everyone, because that area does get a lot of traffic this time of year with the good weather and the golf season, to be advised. And there, as I mentioned, several crosswalks in the hamlet as well. Please make sure you follow the law and yield to pedestrians who are in the crosswalk. If someone is standing on the sidewalk, as I understand it, you are not required to stop. Lastly, the spray park has been getting a real workout this year with this warm weather. And for some reason, you know, when you're down there and you're a child, I'm sure that time flies. Well, for some reason or another, time is really flying, because it's supposed to come out at 10 o'clock, and it did early in the season, but somehow it's crept up to about 10:08 or 10:09 before it comes on. And quite frankly, we don't know why. We've tried to fix it. We don't know why. So it keeps picking up a minute or two every week or two. So we're going to have a sign up there that says that, it's delayed, but every day now we get calls at a couple minutes after 10 saying, why isn't it coming on? And that's the reason. So I'll end it with that. The time flies, and push it on to someone else. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, John. Over to Rick Milne, Mayor of Honeoye Falls and County Legislator. What's going on, Rick?
Well, I appreciate being on these calls, and sometimes, there are things that make you smile a little bit, right? And one thing that doesn't make me smile is what John brought up about the DEC regs. I think that's kind of ridiculous, and I appreciate whatever Michelle can find out and what they can do to enhance it, because having hunters going out, which I am one, without back tags, et cetera, I don't think makes a whole lot of sense. But as far as time flying goes, yeah, that's a fun one, John. Have a good time with that. As far as the village of Honeoye Falls, the West Main Street paving project is complete. It really came out nice. The striping has been completed as of yesterday. And again, we're just really pleased with these results. Our thanks to Monroe County for scheduling the project, as West Main Street was really in need of an upgrade. And also our thanks to the town of Mendon Highway Department team for their efforts in getting this project done, and their efforts along with the Monroe County team. Our local towns are really the groups that really do the bulk of the paving projects. And the village of Honeoye Falls is certainly lucky to have our partners that help with those projects. So thank you to the town of Mendon. Sidewalk improvement project also on West Main Street. That project is basically completed. We have one more thing we're going to do. We are going to add some railings to the step platform in front of the post office. Again, that should be a very clear delineation that there is a step up there, but we are going to add some railings there as well. We see that the ADA compliant lighted crosswalk in front of the post office, we see that as a huge upgrade and positive safety impact for our residents and pedestrians using the area. Please use and activate the crossing beacon when using the crosswalk. There is a very clear button that you push to get the lights flashing back and forth, and we strongly encourage you to use that. But we think this is a really, really positive improvement. And also the new sidewalk grade from Episcopal Avenue to Norton Street. For those who have been in the village for a lot of years, you'll remember that the grade in front of the post office, by the post office entrance, and going up towards Norton Street has always been a challenge. And the grade is now very, very walkable. It's a nice, safe walk for people now. And we're really happy with that. And lastly, on this project, I want to thank our friends at the Episcopal Church in Honeoye Falls who worked really closely with us, because they own a pretty good strip of property on Episcopal Avenue, right in front of the post office, or adjacent to the post office, I should say. And they let us use their property to create a temporary driveway that went behind the post office. They certainly didn't have to do that, but they were gracious enough to do so. And it really worked out great and helped us move this project forward in a timely fashion. The sidewalk project continues on West Main Street, and this is part of the National Fuel Project. And I'm talking about the area on the east side of the road, if you will, from the Four Corners to the town hall. That is nearing completion. It's definitely taken a bit longer than anticipated, and we're doing what we can to try to push this project through. But this is not a project that the village has control over. We are indeed working to have some of the stamped concrete and sidewalk area that was damaged by the project replaced as well. And that is going to be on National Fuel, and we're really pushing to get that done, but it's an ongoing issue. I truly, truly appreciate our businesses and wish that these projects would move forward a little bit faster to minimize their disruption. I understand this can be extremely frustrating, and can also have an impact on the business itself. And we're really trying to push these through as best we can. But thank you to our local businesses for their understanding. This past week, we were happy to have and take part in the ribbon cutting ceremony at ISCO on Quaker Meeting House Road. It was a pleasure to stand with my partner, Supervisor John Moffett, Senator Pam Helming, Assembly Member Lunsford, and others as we celebrated a great new business in Honeoye Falls. This is a business that is hiring, and they may also have a couple of job openings for some recent high school grads looking to make a little money before going to school, or even a part-time position that may work within their school schedule. So I would suggest that anyone interested inquire directly at ISCO, which is at 475 Quaker Meeting House Road. It's a fantastic business, and again, they are looking to hire a few people. Our storm cleanup continues from the past couple of weeks. Honeoye Falls DPW team has worked with Lima crews again this week, this past Thursday. We're very proud to support where we can, and we know that our municipal partners are always there for us as well. And, just again, happy to help. And certainly Lima has been really hit hard by these storms, and they're doing an exemplary job as well, which I know Supervisor Mike Falk will be talking about, I'm sure. And then just a small plug for Honeoye Falls residents. The village does have a program that allows village residents to have a village truck parked at their home overnight to self-load large brush piles, tree trimmings, etc. And again, this is for Village of Honeoye Falls residents. We will park the truck and you load it the same night. We'll come back the next day, pick it up, and get it right out of your yard. I can tell you it's a great program. I've used it multiple times, and in fact, am using it right now this week. The application form is on our website, www.villageofhoneoyefalls.org. It's under the Where Do I section, and then helpful information, and it clearly says overnight truck policy and application, and you can just go online and send that into the village. Reminder, Festival at the Falls is coming up on Saturday, August 17th, and that's always a fun event. That's a one-day event right at Harry Allen Park. As far as the County of Monroe goes, we remain, very busy. The Rochester Chamber of Commerce had a ribbon cutting ceremony just yesterday at their new office facility on Clinton Square in Rochester. It was a nice event to attend, and this facility is going to serve the greater area for many years. The county legislator is beginning to look at upcoming budget presentations, again, from groups like the Monroe Community College. So we'll be very busy with that. And we're also talking about the climate action plan for the county. And I'm trying to share information along with local town supervisors and mayors that I represent and work with for phase 2 presentation. That will come before the legislature in August. And I truly appreciate the great information and feedback I've gotten from our supervisors within District 5. Their input and their comments are very, very important in helping me move through my process of this vote. So thank you very much. I appreciate their support. Thanks, Chris, for this opportunity. And I hope everybody has a great week coming up.
Thank you, Rick. Over to Mike and the town of Lima and maybe some Livingston County news. What's going on, Mike?
Hello, Chris. Thanks for having us again. As Mayor Milne was saying, yes, cleanup is still going on over here in Lima. Thank you very much to Honeoye Falls for assisting the village crew over here and the Lima town crew who spent a ton of time last week picking up brush, branches, etc. Within the village of Lima, place your things out at the street and they'll get disappeared into the giant brush pile. Yeah, it's we had so many things happen over that short period of time, and now hopefully things will be settling out weather-wise, but you never know. Livingston County does provide grant assistance if you are a municipality in Livingston County and you're looking to write a grant, or you're looking for a grant that will help to try to fit something. We do have a new grants and public information coordinator. His name is Travis Clark, and Travis was just appointed at the Board of Supervisors meeting this past Wednesday, and he has been working as the assistant for a while, and it should be a fairly seamless transition. Livingston County Department of Health is going to be hosting an event for World Breastfeeding Week. It's going to be on Saturday, August 3rd from 11 to 1. And it's going to be at the Highland Park in Geneseo. As part of those activities, the Sheriff's Department will be providing ID badges for kids. Lactation counselors will be offering advice and support. There will be a designated breastfeeding friendly space. There will be activities for children, mommy pampering services, and raffle items. The Livingston County Center for Nursing and Rehabilitation has finally, post-COVID, reopened the Garden of Life. The Garden of Life is an adult daycare service, which if you have a loved one that needs some watching, helping, etc. during the day while you have to go to work, that is what this sort of program is for. It's open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Livingston County Center for Nursing and Rehabilitation, which is at 11 Murray Hill Drive in Mount Morris. Please call the CNR if you are interested in enrolling someone. 585-243-7221. And lastly, we have a festival here in Lima. Go to limafest.org. You can take a look at all of the entertainment, the kids' activities, everything else is coming up August 1st through 4th. There is a slight change to the parade, which is taking place at 6 p.m. on August 1st. We will be adding a loop through Alpine Manor, which is our assisted living facility out on Poplar Hill Road, so that the residents can see the parade sort of up close. They have a circular driveway, so we'll swing through there as part of it. We also have a change with the vendors. The overwhelming response for vendors caused us to open a east side vendor location, which is already starting to fill up. So the Village Green, which is on the east side of the Lima Town Hall, will also be holding vendors, and the return of the Star Wars obstacle course for both Saturday and Sunday, so the kids can go in and see if the Empire truly does strike back. Limafest.org, and I'll be running around like a madman with the festival, but just tap me on the shoulder if you have any questions, or you can call me 585-509-1433, or hit the information booth over at the front corner of the sidewalk at the Lima Presbyterian Church. And that's all I got, Chris.
All right. Thanks, Mike, and may the course be with you. All right. So we have Rob Hayes, Mayor of the Village of Avon, coming on for the first time. Welcome, Rob. Tell us what's going on in Avon.
Good morning. Thanks for letting me go last. I think I got the gist of what all gets talked about here. So I appreciate being on board with you all. So a little bit about what's going on. And I promise I'll be better prepared for the next one now, but now I know how this goes. But anyway, in the recent meetings, we recently just passed a local law in our driving park to reduce the speed limit. to 25 miles per hour. So that's gone into effect just this past couple of weeks. We, within the last couple of weeks as well, finally completed our River Street repaving project, which looks fantastic. That was all done via in-house help. So our crew did a fantastic job to get that done in a really timely fashion, and barely had any disruptions at all to traffic. And it was right in the middle of Little League season, so it was very much appreciated that we didn't really have any diversions or detours to speak of. So they worked through nights to get that done really quickly. One exciting development we have at our wastewater treatment facility, we just took delivery finally of our ultraviolet disinfection system. So that's been an ongoing project through EPA funding, and we were backlogged, just kind of really waiting for the system to get the actual UV disinfecting rods installed. So that project is finally reaching significant completion. So we should be able to sign off on that relatively quickly. I think in mid-August to September is our projected closeout date for that. As far as a couple of, I think on the supply side of water, it's been a hot topic, but we've been working with the town and village of Geneseo, looking at ways that we can improve the water delivery system between both municipalities. So right now we're in the scoping and costing phase of project build to look at putting a redundancy between the two systems, as well as looping the Geneseo supply off of Avon's line, so that we can finally retire a very old and very costly spur line from our water system and transition it over to Geneseo. So that's very much in the works as well. As far as some events going on in the village, we've got quite a few, and we're proud to, for the third annual time, we are hosting the Western New York Combined Carriage Association show and competition. That's actually this weekend. It kicked off this morning. So they will be here. That's July 26th, 27th, and 28th down at our Avon Driving Park. There'll be combined test and competitions today and tomorrow, as well as a carriage parade throughout the village on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock. So that should be a lot of family fun. The Genesee Valley Breeders Association is again hosting their event on August 25th, also down at the Downs. So that's another exciting event coming up. And of course, after you've had all sorts of fun in Lima, the following week you can travel right down routes 5 and 20 for the annual Corn Festival. And that is actually, we just got done with a meeting on that. And it promises to be bigger and better than ever. So we're looking forward to that. And that is on August 10th. And one final one that we're actually doing with Friends of the Genesee Valley Greenway is a family bike challenge from Scottsville down through the Greenway, Genesee Valley Greenway, to Erie Attica Trail and into our Avon Driving Park as an endpoint with food trucks and bands. And again, the Breeders Association will be there. And it's kind of a nice summit between hikers and bikers and horse people. So there'll be some breakout sessions there and some educational meetings about how to share the trails and rights of way, and how to get along with the horses and the bikes and the dogs and the people. So we're really looking forward to that one as well. So hopefully that's how this format works. That's all I have, and look forward to doing this more often.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect. What you did was perfect. Good. Thanks very much. Over to Steve and Henrietta. What's going on there?
So it's been organized chaos for the last 3 days, as our old town court closed today, Friday, and the new town court opens Monday. So what would that be, the 29th? So anyone who's come to town court, do not go over to Town Center Drive anymore. Come over to the town hall campus. We're already moving all the signs over, getting everything up and running. So it's been a long process. And of course, with all the material delays and such. So for instance, the veneer still hasn't arrived. They've been telling us it's going to be here in 2 days for the past 2 months. The suppliers, I don't understand why they can't just tell our contractors the real story, but that's how it is. As part of that, we redid the entrance to the town hall and the new town court. So we actually have a traffic circle for better traffic flow. It's been repaved, restriped, working well. Repaving and resurfacing efforts are in full swing on our town roads. I'll note, because we've had some people talk about it, not understanding how the process works, that if we're doing a micro paving project, when it's first completed, you'll see seams that'll look rough. That's because what they do is they drag behind sand to essentially hold the micro paving tar, if you will, in place in the event that it rains. As traffic goes over, the sand wears away and the paving material is left behind. It results in a smoother surface and a lot less messy than the old-fashioned oil and stone method. There are places where we still need to do the old oil and stone, but wherever we can, we try to do the micro paving because we know people don't like the oil and stone. The reason we do the resurfacing is it keeps them from breaking down. It'll extend the life of the road another 5 to 10 years and keep it from, breaking apart like you see, unfortunately, on many of our state roads in town. Which brings us to East Henrietta Road. The state DOT, who, just so people are clear, they have the sole authority and responsibility for state roads. We are not allowed to patch them. We are not allowed to work on them. And that includes East and West Henrietta roads, Jefferson roads, and then parts of Lehigh and Erie Station roads, basically anywhere you see a New York route number. The state DOT has begun the preliminary work for rebuilding and repaving East Henrietta Road from the thruway to the I-390 overpass. This is a 2-year process. Included in that, and I believe it's not going to happen until next year, they are going to be replacing a culvert, which means a section of the road south of Lehigh Station Road will be closed for a while. There will be detours in place, but obviously we'll give notice as that gets closer. We'll share updates for the whole process when we get them. Right now, they're doing the utility relocation work, land acquisition because they're lengthening some of the turn lanes, things like that. And no, the New York State DOT has not given us a schedule for when they're going to repair West Henrietta Road. It's not quite as bad as East Henrietta Road, but it's not far behind. While we're talking about the roads, the Monroe County DOT has been widening and repaving East River Road from the thruway to Jefferson Road. Anyone who's been on there knows this already. For most of that length, that means there's going to be new shoulders that will be bike friendly. We decided not to make them dedicated bike lanes, and the reason is simple. We have rural mail delivery, and if you have them as designated bike lanes, the mail delivery truck can't go in there, which means we now need to have the mailboxes right at the curb or the edge of the travel lanes. That's dangerous for the mail carriers. It's dangerous for people getting the mail. So we have them on the far, but basically they are bike lanes and all but being striped for bike lanes. So it'll be a much better route for people riding their bikes. North of Bailey Road, in addition to that, the shoulders, they are adding a center turn lane because there's a lot of driveways in that area and a decent amount of traffic since it's coming down the west side of RIT. So that's all happening now. They don't plan on any road closures the whole time, although they will often, one lane will be shut down, so they'll have a person, flagman at each end. So if you can avoid East River Road, it might be advisable to do so. In addition to the road work there, we are building a sidewalk or multimodal path along basically from Lehigh Station Road north to the southwest entrance from RIT. We did this in conjunction with Monroe County DOT to save money. So basically the same folks who are building the road are going to be building the path. We're doing that with funding that we received from the state. Although I will note we first were awarded the bid or awarded the grant for those that work back in 2018. And then it took 3 years to get through DASNY, who is the folks who handled that grant. And then once it got through DASNY, at that point, the person who'd gotten us the grant, Senator Gallivan, had gone from being the Senate Majority Leader to being the Senate Minority Leader. And there was politics being played, as it would appear, because it then sat in the Senate Finance Committee for quite some time. Fortunately, our new senator, Senator Jeremy Cooney, was able to get those funds freed up. So after a frustratingly long 6 years, the work is finally getting done. I will also note that Assembly Member Harry Bronson has gotten us a grant to do improvements to all of the crosswalks, including the signalized crosswalks. Similar, there will be, like you'll see with some of the other, I think someone else was talking about them, there'll be flashing lights to warn people that there are pedestrians in the crosswalks. So that work is all going on. That is expected to be completed, the majority of it this year, and then the remainder of it next spring. Work has started on the spray park, but because the original bids came in over budget and we had to shrink the size of the changing table and go out to rebid, it will not be operational before the end of summer. But we've started construction on the spray pad itself. We've excavated for the building. The masons, well, actually the plumbers will get started first. And then once the plumbing that goes under the foundations are done, then the masons will come in and start putting up the walls for the building. So we expect that to be completed this fall, but our original goal was to be operational by end of summer. But like I said, when we had to go out and rebid, that put us back a month and a half. So we're not going to make it. Work on the former Good Shepherd Church has been moving forward. Our goal is to be operational in September. There was a lot of work necessary to bring the church up to ADA standards so it could be used as a public space. All the entrances were stairs, some of them narrow. Doors had to be widened. Bathrooms had to be widened. In addition, we didn't think one bathroom would cut it, so we added additional bathrooms. It's good. The plan is for it to be used for things like community theater, and there is a stage. Basically, the former altar is now a stage, as well as to be rented by residents in a similar manner to a cabin, albeit with much greater capacity. We expect it to be popular for graduation parties, wedding receptions, other large festivities and meetings. The golf course, we're continuing to do the irrigation. The attendance continues to rise at the golf course as word gets out that it's back operational and in a much greater condition than it has been over the last half dozen to a dozen years. We just had the Rochester District Golf Association out. They were very impressed with the work that our town crews have done to restore the course to some of its former glory. So there will probably be some stories coming out soon, both in the news and through the Rochester District Golf Association, as far regarding the course. So we're excited about that. We're starting to see group rentals as well. So this fall, we're planning to go out to bid for a new clubhouse. The plan is that we would go out to bid for restaurant operators to run a restaurant there. And we would essentially build the new restaurant and pro shop, and then they would lease the restaurant for the cost of the debt service on the bond to build the facility. So that's our plan. Whether we'll be able to get there financially or not, we'll find out. But the plan is to do that without expending taxpayer dollars. As many probably already know, the Shake Shack opened in Henrietta. We were there 2 days before opening, looking at their plans, and we're very fearful there would be traffic backups that would have gone out onto Jefferson Road. And the reason is, though their long-term site plan calls for 2 entrances, the western entrance wasn't there yet, or more accurately, it went nowhere because the plaza site next to them hadn't been developed yet. And so I reached out to our highway superintendent, who said, hey, we happen to be milling Marketplace Drive, which is on the other side of the block. And so they brought the millings there and dropped them off. We routinely drop them. They're essentially waste. So anyone who wants them, we drop them off at those businesses, but we dropped them off there and they were able to roll them and use that as a second entrance. So even though there were hundreds and hundreds of cars, there was no traffic backup thanks to the quick work. It all happened in less than 24 hours. The guys from Shake Shack were absolutely amazed and very appreciative, as you can imagine. So, you know, again, huge kudos to our highway crews to make that happen. Our newsletter was delayed due to me being bitten by an aggressive dog, ironically, at our free rabies clinic. And I say ironically because the dog had never had rabies shots. I had to go through and get the rabies shots. I will say it's not a pleasant experience. Unfortunately, the owner, he clearly knew his dog was aggressive because he wasn't in line with him. He had someone else in line, but he was standing where our employees were walking back and forth. And I just happened to be the one who went by when he decided to attack. And so I had my hand bitten. There was good laceration, some nerve damage. It's healing up, but as you can imagine, the typing and mouse work needed to produce a newsletter was not possible while my hand was swollen and stitched and bandaged. But it's getting better now. And so hopefully this month, early August, our next town newsletter should be out, and we'll go forward from there. That's it.
All right. Thanks, Steve, and I hope you feel better. That's bad news about that.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything that they want to add? Seeing nothing, thank you for being with us today. Thank you all for watching. Remember, we are airing this every Sunday at 1 p.m. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and those platforms will notify you when this show is aired. Otherwise, you can read the complete transcript in next week's paper. That's all for this week. See you all next week. Bye-bye for now.
Go Bill.
The Mendon-Honeoye Falls-Lima Sentinel welcomes you to this edition of the Mayor's and Supervisors Weekly Update, brought to you by
Imagine yourself communicating with a difference. Pan-Dimensional Solutions helps you do this. Whether live spectator events, taped broadcasts, or real-time audience-engaging programs, you can benefit immediately from the tools Pan-Dimensional Solutions will share with you. Do you want to make a difference? Contact us at pandimensional.com.